I wish you would have got a divorce. Now she became upset with that because a divorce in our culture is seen as a dog, a black mark.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm
it
saying
is
this for
it was seen as that. I don't think it is anymore. It's
it
like I
is with
said,
that. It is with
it's
that first generation.
yeah,
It
with
is with
them,
people
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Pakistan. Yes,
Because
with us it's not.
no, it
Us
is
we
not.
don't see it as that. We see it as, you know what? You're saving yourself from depression. You're
But
saving yourself from
because
hurt.
divorce in our communities, going back even 10, 20 years ago, was unheard of, and now it's like it's common as muck. Like it's just the norm.
It's common as muck.
Unfortunately, it's not
It's
a
common
good
as
thing.
muck. And
But
as you said it, muck. That's what people think of you. Then when you go to get a rishta, and you have to tell them, "Oh, he's a divorcee." It's
yeah,
like,
but you know what? The likelihood is they've got a divorce. Like I guarantee, you either know someone that's divorced. If you're not divorced yourself, you've got someone in your family. If not your immediate family, your extended family. If not extended family, you at least know one person that's divorced.
today you do.
To this day and
Today
age,
you do.
you look on your neighborhood, your street, like there's gonna be like on my street, there's
And
at least 5 Asian households.
Yeah.
All of them have got divorced.
And
There's
going-
not one without a divorce.
And
All of
going
them.
back to what you was asking,
Yeah.
from my experience and what I strongly feel right now, don't stick together, separate. But then there is the other flip side to that.
Kids.
Kids.
Yeah, but from a kid's perspective, you said it was better, so it would have been worse had they split.
Possibly that's
Possibly,
the thing.
but you would
I
never
don't.
know. Yeah, so-
I experienced one side of it, so that's where my thought comes from. I've not experienced the other side. What if I didn't have a father figure?
Exactly. It could have been worse. So
What could have happened? So
You might
I
have
should
turned
be,
out how
maybe
you
I should
turned
be
out.
maybe I should be counting my blessings.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I don't know. So I'm maybe,
Again, there's no right and wrong.
I'm biased.
answer, yeah.
So I'm biased to what
Yeah.
I've experienced, whereas someone else will say, "Listen, you had a dad. I had no dad."
Yeah. Someone whose parents might have split, they might have said that. Sol, what's your take on this?
It's not a right or wrong answer, like you said, and it's not a black and white answer. It's a bit of a grey answer for me. Like you mentioned about kids involvement, so that's the issue. And that for me, when kids are involved, it's a difficult choice.
Yeah, when kids are involved. I mean,
It is a difficult choice, but again, there's no right or wrong. It's just I just want your opinion. So, obviously, I think it's case by case. But if you find yourself in that situation, or let's say you've got a best friend or a family member that you love and you care for, and they came to you and they said, "Listen, it's not working out. Blah blah. They're wrong. I'm wrong. What should I do?" Would your advice to them be, "Listen, suck it up, carry on, for the sake of kids, sake of whatever religion, people saying, people talking, this thing that you're referring to, dag, where's that come from? Log, so other people are going to, judge you." Or do you say, what, you're not happy, cut your losses, save any more stress and heartache for both of you, and just get divorced and then see what else happens? Because divorce, it might be seen as a bad thing, but it's there for a reason. It's obviously last resort. But what's your opinion on that? So in that situation, in that scenario?
okay, I'm going to fall back on something that I've heard, and I recently heard this as well. So in Asian culture, they fall back on Islam and they tell you in Islam, divorce is the most hated. It's a permitted sin. It's the worst of things that you can do.
Permissible.
Sorry?
Permissible,
but it's the worst. Allah hates it the most.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's not true, apparently.
Okay.
Some guys just made it up, and it has come from South Asia. This sermon, it wasn't a sermon. This talk that I heard, he made a very good point. He goes, "You must try to seek help first. Go to counseling. Talk to each other. Get your closest relatives or friends involved. Sit down and come to a resolution. And if you can't, and that marriage is putting you in a position where you're entering wrong thoughts." Now, I don't know what you meant by that, so I can only
assume.
Yeah,
it's probably like suicide or things of that extreme, I'm assuming.
And then what he said was, divorce is permissible. Allah will not, punish you for that.
Yeah, no, it's there. I've heard that as well. I'm not sure how true it is that it's a permissible, detested act,
Yeah,
but it's
because
there for a reason.
it's there for a reason. Islamically, you're in a bad place. No, you don't. You do not need to remain separate.
So let's say that happens and it's still not working out, still in a bad resolution, you're still not seeing eye to eye, but you've got kids. Do you stay for the sake of the kid?
I would talk to the person. I would get a feeling for the place where they are at that moment, and then I would tell them if I think they can. First of all, I would say to them, you know what? Take a time out. Take time out.
I've heard that sometimes does work. Yeah,
Separate.
time to think.
Separate. You take the kids for a little while. Let the other partner keep the kids for a little while. Just have your own space. If it still doesn't work with the kids, walk away. Walk away.
Okay, interesting. Right, Sol. So what's your take on this? Again, no right or wrong. So a friend, family member, whoever comes over to you, same question that person is. What would your answer be?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because you need to know them personally. You don't live with them exactly. Like I was telling you, just like earlier, you only get to know a person when you live with them or you travel with them. So you're never gonna know 100% of what it's like.
Yeah. So you know him. It's a family member. Could be a close friend. Could be
but they're not gonna. Some family members, they're not gonna be all transparent to you. Should we say? They're not gonna tell you the whole fact. There's a lot of layers. I can't honestly answer the question. It's case by case basis. That's all I can say. I don't know. I can't answer the question right now.
It is very difficult.
It's very difficult
because in the Asian community, anyway, which is the experience that we have, people are very closed. They keep their feelings behind closed doors. I don't think it's in our hands anymore. Women have now been given the chance to earn their own living. They're now literally turning around and saying, what the fuck do I need you for? I needed you. My mum needed my dad to provide. I don't need that. I'm going out and earning my own living. I don't need to be married. I'm paying for my own shit. I don't need you. And literally that is what is happening. People aren't getting married. People are either staying single or they're entering partnerships, which is why they're now changing the law, because people are not getting married, but they do cohabit. So at the moment, a partner has no rights whatsoever, but they're changing the law.
That was actually going to be my next question. What would you think about people, especially in the West, where they're with a partner, they'll even have kids with them, and they live with them, and they're a couple, but they're not yet married? Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, Islamically, that's not allowed. So
I struggle with that one, because in a way, what's the difference? You've just not said the vows. You kind of are, you co-inhabited.
I mean, I'll tell you from my personal opinion is this. I believe in this day and age, when you're going to get married, you can't just turn up to a meet and greet and make a decision. From what I've seen, people can put on an act for a day, for an hour, a day, a week. You need to be with that person for at least 6 months before you get to really see their character. And only then do you know who you're marrying.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not permissible in
Islam. It's not, but in the West, they do that quite often. So, Saul, what's your take on that? People that do that.
Sorry, there's been a couple of questions. Which one are you referring to?
Any of the above. So, because you've been quite quiet today. So, what would you say to a friend who is maybe single? Would you encourage him to get married?
I'd encourage him to get married, because that's part of half your deen. So that's my
if he's a Muslim.
It's a Muslim, yeah.
Muslim, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Muslim.
Yeah. And what would you advise him? What would you advise him? Because you are a married man, so what would you advise him in terms of marriage? Or her?
I don't really have many females, so I can't really comment on hers.
Okay, then him. All right, okay.
Yeah, tell him to settle down. If it's his first, again, different situations in it. If he's been married and then divorce, again, sometimes you need to understand. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, is he getting married just for one reason? I can't
Yeah.
really, or is he getting married for a
So
number of reasons?
let's say lonely, because the biggest thing I think single people have is lonely. It's
I
kind
think
of like
I think you're talking about men here. I mean, women generally
women get lonely as well.
Statistically, men are more lonely than. I can't bring it up right now, but I know that for certain.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that what no,
I agree.
I'm talking about suicide though. Suicide generally is more men than women, so that shows you men generally are more lonely than women. I'm not saying women don't get lonely.
Can a man be lonely in marriage?
Yes.
I would say yeah. I would say yeah. So it could happen. I can't deny that fact.
I'll give
It
my
is
strongest.
possibility.
I'll give my strongest opinion. I just thought of this, but I'll give my strongest opinion. What would I want for my daughter? That's the strongest way I can think of it, actually.
Yeah.
So what I would say to my daughter is, do you want to get married? If they say yes, then I would give them the advice. Okay, find someone, and you need to be or see them for 6 months. You need to be and see them, see their family members, their brothers and sisters. And I would encourage them to see the younger brothers and sisters.
Why the younger?
They're always truthful. You can always get a lot more out of them. I can guarantee you that.
Isn't it a thing? I've heard somewhere, or I think I read somewhere, they say you should see how the woman treats her parents or something, or the man treats their parents or something along those lines, to sort of gauge how they'll be with you or your parents. I don't know how true that is, but
I don't know about that, because I think from our aspect, we seem to have this idea that when we get married, I didn't have this idea, but our idea within South Asian families is you're getting married because the wife's going to look after your parents. She's going to look after her in-laws.
Hold that thought. We'll come to that in a moment.
Oh, sorry.
So, okay, so just to wrap this point up then. So people in the West often have kids, they live with a partner, but they don't get married. What's your take on that? And I'm trying to say from the point of view, like, what, because they can't get divorced. Do you think the word marriage is pressure? Like, what, I can't, because to me, they're married without actually saying the vows, without the thingy. Why did they do that? What do you think? I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I'm just thinking, why? Like, what do you think? So,
I think this is nothing to do with Islam personally. I think it's to do with money. Now, in the West, women holds a lot of power in aspects. So, for example, if a divorce happened, women goes half.
Oh, so you think it's the fear of she's going to take half his crop? So you rather have. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So that's my opinion. Why I'm not talking about Muslim here, because I don't know if women, but this is why sometimes men don't want to commit to that reason, because they think she's going to take half my income, half my,
and because there is a thing called a prenup, but I think if you say that to a woman, she's going to get highly offended. Yeah. But so to avoid,
like I said before, I think
so that's my opinion. Why
I think they are changing the law.
Okay.
I think they are changing the law so that partners are now able to claim as married couple. It's not been passed, but they're thinking about it.
Yeah. I suppose it's that responsibility. I actually, a while back now, I was working at a call center, and I knew an English girl. I won't name her, but she was saying she liked the Muslim concept because she was working at a call center with myself. I think we were on like 18, 19K at the time. She was dating a web designer, or he's some IT guy. He was earning like 4 times as much as her. He was on like near enough 60 grand. But because they were equal partners, he said half on everything. So they had the rent. So the rent was like probably $1,000, or I think it was 1,200 quid. So 600, she come out with, I think, 1,200 quid. So half her wage went on the rent, and I think only less than a quarter. So he was coming out with probably $4,000 a month.
That's wrong.
But he didn't say. He said we're equal. So that's it. Even though I'm earning more than you, you want equality.
No, that's wrong.
That's how he was doing it. And she said to me, she was, if I was Muslim, I go, yeah, I think that it's on the man to sort of provide that.
It's on
for
the
you.
man to provide,
So, yeah,
but I think that's wrong as well.
yeah.
If the woman's working, then I think your support or your input into any household expenses should be based percentage wise on your income, so that you both
it seems more fair. Yeah. But no, but the way they did it was 50-50 because you want 50-50, then you get 50-50. Okay, so moving on to something quite heavy, I'd say, quite intriguing. I want your take on explanations on the differences, pros and cons of love marriage, arranged marriage, and unfortunately, the thing called forced marriages.
Okay. Love marriage. Is there any such thing?
Yeah, two
Is
people
there?
meet, they get on, fall in love.
You know what?
Do music,
Actually,
sunshine and rainbows, and yeah.
no.
Not saying it works, but
you've made me remember something, and it was from an interview about this Egyptian entrepreneur or mathematician. His name was Mo, and he talked about marriage with his wife. He's divorced her, but unfortunately, that's unfortunate. But he did speak about his marriage with her, and he said, "I fell in love many times." And what he meant was, when I first met her, I fell in love with who she was, the student.
At that time.
Yeah,
people change.
Then she became a mother. And this was a completely different person to the student. So now I fell in love with the mother. Then she became a worker. She was different. She was no longer the mother. She was now a worker. So her persona, her personality changed. I now fell in love with the worker. I mean, we're no longer married now, but we are such good friends. So yeah, love it's not as it starts off. You have to change as the person changes. And I think what you said, people change over time, and they do, depending on the circumstances they encounter. Now, they did lose a child. I don't know how much that had to play with them getting divorced, but I don't think love is love at first sight. I think love happens again and again and again. Yep. If you can find that in that person.
If you can find the right person.
So the pros of it is, in love, hopefully you find somebody who is as understanding as you are, and you can both talk to each other openly.
Sol, your take on this matter?
Yeah. Love marriage. I don't believe in love at first sight personally, because it's not something.
Not at first sight, love marriage. Yeah. So you don't believe in that concept, like boy meets girl, workplace, whatever. I mean, without doing shady stuff, maybe goes to mummy and daddy. Found someone, yada yada yada. That's love, isn't it? Because it's they found themselves. They fell for someone.
I agree with Sol here. Love at first sight. You're not falling in love with the person. You're falling in love with whatever you see at that time. And that could be a facade.
Yeah, it could be a facade.
Because someone could play up and say, right, exactly. I'm going to be all macho here. I'm going to prove that I'm the best guy for her. I'm not looking from perspective, and the girl will be thinking, oh, this guy's such a nice guy. He's giving me flowers and everything and all that. And as soon as they get married, all that breaks apart. Yeah. Stops getting all this. And then she's like, oh, you give me a headache now. And she goes, she's giving me a headache. I don't want to go into it, but that's what happens, isn't it? So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it could be as we're saying, a facade. It could be a barrier. You're not showing your real true character. And as soon as you get together, living in a household, that's when the truth comes out, and that's when you.
But that's with all marriage, though. That's arranged as well.
Which is why I said before.
People change.
I believe the partners should be allowed to remain with each other for 6 months, because you can keep up a facade for 3 months, and I'm putting concrete figures on this because I believe this is doable. 3 months you can put on a show.
They say that when you meet someone for the first time, you're not meeting the real person. You're meeting a representative of that person.
Yes.
Because they always want to show their best person. Like Niz is saying, a facade. but you can't, like, you know, slowly, you know, the real person comes out, because you can't keep up an act for that long. You just can't. You know, certain situation, like, oh, I want this girl bad, or I want this guy bad, and I'll tolerate this happens for a week, 6 weeks, and it's like, you know what, your real you comes out. So I do understand that concept. But okay, that's love. Arranged. So I believe you had an arranged marriage. Speak to that a little bit, because I think speaking to a lot of my English friends, they get confused with arranged and forced marriages. They think it's the same thing. They think when you say you're going to get arranged, like, oh, right, so your parents pick someone for you, you have to go marry him. That's forced marriages. That's not arranged marriage, is it? So explain, maybe enlighten some listeners that don't know what an arranged marriage actually is.
Well, difference with a forced, arranged and a forced. So I'll go with arranged first, alphabetically ordered. So arranged is usually, I'm talking about our culture, South Asian, and how I experienced myself. It was my uncle who gave details to some intermediary, a middle person. It's usually a bloke, it's never a female. And he says, "Look, my nephew is interested in getting married." And then he goes, "Okay, no problem." And then obviously my father-in-law then obviously wasn't then, but he said the same thing, because, "Oh, my daughter is interested in getting married." The intermediary person, he then goes back to my uncle, says, "Right, there's this person available. Do you want to go see them?" Go, "Yep." So obviously,
so you have a choice in if you want to see that person or not.
yeah. So that's what happens.
Okay.
You want to see this person? They live here, and do you want to go see it? And if you're interested, you make your way. If not, then you can say, "Yep, no, I'm not interested." And then you go, "Okay, fine." If it isn't interested, then they find somebody else, and then it's the same, repeat the same question. You know, there's
And
just
is that option for the girls as well?
Yeah.
Can the girls say yes or no as well?
Yeah, the girls can say yes or no as well. That's from my wife's point of view. I mean, again, I can only go from me and my wife. Yeah, from my experience, I can't. Everyone else will have difference. They might just say no, you have to go. That could potentially become forced. I don't know. So I'm only going from my experience here. So,
I mean, you don't have to answer this, but did you speak to your wife, and if so, for how long prior to getting married?
just that once I met her, and that was it.
Or just the one time?
Just one meeting, yeah.
Oh, okay. So this was saying 6 months or not? Okay.
No, it was just a one meeting, and then
So it was a face-to-face talk.
Face-to-face talk.
And
Some people might not allow it. No communication. So no phone calls, no nothing. It was just like, "Are you interested in getting married to her?" I said yes, and this is the end. You know, it wasn't like straight away. It was like a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
So you thought about it.
She thought about it. Yeah. And she had the same thing. You know, she thinks about it as well. So generally, it's the boy that has to. I don't know. From me, it was usually the boy that has to give, or the bloke, or the.
So you had to give the answer first.
First, yeah, before the girl has to give this answer, because it's never the other way around. That's then enticing the girl.
The thing is, if you said yeah and she said no, it'd still be a no, because she said no, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If
and
she
vice
says no,
versa.
it's vice versa.
Even if she said yeah, okay, and you'd say no, it'd still be a no.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's almost like how the old school did it, just the one meeting, and you know,
I don't think.
I don't think they got a meeting.
Give a meeting.
Yeah, well, but grandparents, there was a photo. You see a photo. And
Photo, yeah.
If you were lucky.
Yeah.
I don't think you saw.
Yeah, my grandma did. She was like, I was showing a photo.
My parents didn't see a photo of each other.
My parents did. It was a photo, and that's
literally just a photo.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no, that was it.
Yeah, that's a yes.
I don't think they even got a meeting. It literally, and that's what bamboozles me. I think the times changed, so they would just maybe because they grew and bared it. That's why divorce was less in those times. Whereas today, it's, you know, because imagine that
they put
you're saying 6 months. They've got like Saul's case is one combo, but going back to generation before, they got one photo, or if they're lucky, one combo to decide.
I didn't get anything.
You didn't get anything.
No.
So your arranged marriage was slightly different.
It wasn't arranged; it was forced.
Right. Okay. So define forced. What's the difference between arranged and forced?
So forced.
So you spoke about arranged, and you're saying
the
yours
positives of arranged marriages. Hopefully, you have the chance of having intermediaries when any issues happen, and you can resolve them. Yeah. Forced marriages, my personal marriage process, this was it. So I had no idea I was going to get married at that point. We were looking, which was fine. It wasn't serious. But then all of a sudden, it was the month of May, I think, or it was June. And I was told, your auntie's daughter, your auntie's
Asked.
asked if you
There's a question.
could get married. Yeah.
Okay.
So question just.
Trying to.
So your auntie's asked if you could marry her daughter.
Because I'm going to ask these questions because I'm trying to get where the force came in. So at the moment, it's a question, right?
So then I replied, no, thank you. Then it was, well, I asked you, now I'm telling you. So neither did I see a photo.
Is this the auntie?
No, this is my parents telling me.
Okay.
So neither did I see a photo. Neither had I spoken to her. I didn't know anything about her.
Had you requested any of these things? Or had you said no? Because what was your no based on?
My no was based on the cultural difference between her and me. And
Okay.
I knew it wasn't going to make a successful, lasting marriage.
So seeing a photo or a convo wouldn't, you thought it was irrelevant. So you didn't ask for these.
Irrelevant.
Right. So you didn't ask for them.
I didn't ask for
No,
them.
no, what they offered to you.
Literally, I had it in my mind, I will not get married to anyone from Pakistan.
Okay. That was your stance, right?
That was my stance. So I gave my no. And then I was told, well, we asked you, now we're telling you. So that's forced marriage.
So what made you say yeah?
I've never said yes.
Okay.
But I didn't run away from home. I didn't put my foot down because, again, it played on my side of you must obey your parents. And now I realize that is wrong. Islam doesn't say obey your parents. Islam says respect your parents. And there's a big difference between the two. I didn't know that at the time.
See, so for people that hear about forced marriages and they don't understand, like, it's quite simple. I'm someone like Sol, we've had this convo off air as well, and he's like, well, he doesn't seem to get it because it's like, just say no in it. It's almost like that. Was it Nancy Reagan drug campaign? Just say no. So the thing, and I know plenty of people that have had forced marriages, and it's not as easy. It's because it's a lot of emotional blackmail that's involved. That's the tricky part. That's where it gets. So even though you physically may say no with your mouth, it's like you said no now. How come you end up married? Actually, someone talk through that process. So if you're saying no, then how come you still end up married? Like what goes through your head? What's the situation? Is there a way to break free or without running away? Is there any other way or not?
No, there's not. You have to run away.
You have to run away.
You have to walk away from the family because once your parents put down a stance of we gave birth to you, well, your mum goes, I gave birth to you, your father goes, I fed you, and this is how you treat me by telling me no. I'm not saying no to you, I'm saying no to her.
Yeah, but they value, so that her or that him usually is going to be the parent's relative, isn't it? It's going to be, I don't know, but a close relative. It's going to
be the partner's parents. So in my case, my wife's parents, who then
put that pressure
blackmailed and pressurized my parents, and then my parents passed that on to me. And unfortunately,
So it's the guilt of letting down your parents that makes you go through with it.
The guilt, yes.
Yeah, so it's emotional blackmail.
Absolutely.
Do you think the parents that do that? I'm not talking about yours in particular. I'm just talking in general. Do you think they are aware of what they're doing, or do you think not even aware of what they're doing?
That's a really hard one. Exactly. That is a really hard one.
Because it's tricky. It's because they're under emotional blackmail themselves in a way when you think about it.
They are.
And the people that are doing that are doing it because they've got a benefit, because their child is going to come to supposedly a better country, a better life, whatnot.
Literally, my wife's parents told my mum and dad, we'll just cut you off from the family and we'll make sure no one talks to you ever again.
If you say no.
If I said no. And then my parents told me, you're going to cause a feud. and then I just went through with it.
Right. So there you have it. That's the difference between an arranged marriage and a divorced marriage. Sorry, a forced marriage. I speak of divorced. I've gone through that. So, like I say, that's not pretty. It's a last resort, but I feel it's an option. And if you really need to, I'm not one to stay in a. Some people, like I said earlier, grim and bear it. I don't think I could do that. In fact, I know I can't do that. So that's another story. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, this episode went on for a very long time. Typical to a classic Asian wedding. So we've had to split it in 3 parts. Again, typical to a classic Asian wedding. Literally, you get the mendi, ruksati, and the velima log. So, join us next week for the continuation of this great episode. See you then. Bye.